Good afternoon and welcome to District 96 crowning event of the year, the finals of the International Speech Contest for 2021. This contest is taking place on Zoom and being simultaneously broadcast to YouTube. So hello to all of you on the YouTube live stream. And now it's my pleasure to introduce you to our contest chair, who really needs no introduction, but let's call him a trophy hoarder, shall we? Please join me in welcoming our contest chair for today, distinguished Toastmaster, Sharuk Darawala. Sharuk?
Thank you, Mimi. That's one more moniker for me that I will gladly accept. Welcome, District 96 Toastmasters. Welcome, dignitaries. And of course, by dignitaries, I mean our guests, because all our guests are dignitaries, and when they join Toastmasters, they just become family. So it's my pleasure to be your contest chair today. The contest will consist of 7 speakers, contestants, and they will be delivering a 5 to 7 minute speech of their choosing. Let me ask Madam Chief Judge Linda Lee if all the contest judges, timers, and ballots have been briefed according to the rules. And are we ready to proceed with the contest?
Mr. Contest Chair, all the judges, timers, and ballot counters have all been briefed. We are ready to proceed.
I will introduce each contestant by their name, followed by the title of their speech, and I will repeat the name and the title one more time. Ladies and gentlemen, contestant number 1, Maria Ganger. Family Secrets. Maria Ganger, Family Secrets.
When I was a kid, I thought my dad was the funniest guy in the world. High praise from a 5-year-old, I know. Some of my earliest memories are of him picking us up and telling us the most hilarious jokes in his van. Contest chair, honored judges, fellow members, and welcome guests. Did you hear about the guy who fell into a wood chipper? His entire left side got cut off. But don't worry, he's all right now. To 5-year-old me, this was the pinnacle of comedy. I was laughing so hard, I didn't think about why we only saw my dad 2 days a month. Or why he never took us to his house. Or why he one day showed up acting kind of funny, and my mom made him leave. I didn't know my dad was homeless. I didn't know he was a drug addict. Once I was mature enough to understand, my mom warned me not to tell anyone about my dad's problems. She said that if they knew, people might start to look at me differently, that they might think I was somehow like him. So for a long time, I kept the secret. Year after year, I would struggle to explain to teachers why I didn't want to make their stupid Father's Day coupon book. That was a battle I always lost. I felt a weird obligation to be ashamed of my dad, but honestly, I didn't. I had no control over the things my dad did. Why should anyone judge me for them? It was just an unfortunate part of my life that I'd always been used to, like having asthma or a nut allergy. At a certain point, I stopped holding back. The next time a friend asked me why in all the years of our friendship she'd never seen my dad, I simply told her, "Don't take it personally. I haven't seen him either." And of course, she didn't judge me, and it felt great. Why had my mom been so paranoid? When I was 14, one of my cousins came out as gay. He too had been keeping a secret about something over which he had no control. After a violent reaction from his mother, he fled their home and showed up that night on our doorstep. My mom took him in without question. This basic act of compassion would drive a rift in our family that would never heal. For weeks to come, disgusting vitriol would pour out of our phone whenever my mom or older sister dared to answer it. Eventually, we unplugged it. But that didn't stop the emails. The good and bad thing about the emails was that I could finally see just what my aunt was saying about us. There was no hit that was too low, including that my dad's drug use had clearly done something to the sperm. It was then I understood why my mom had been so afraid of judgment, because she had lived it through her own family. Every family has its secrets. My mom wanted me to keep my dad's problems a secret to protect me from those who might use it against me. But keeping a secret gives it a power over you. And breaking the silence gave me the only agency I will ever have over it. When my cousin told his secret, it revealed a supposedly loving family to just be a facade for hate. But it also set him free from their abuse. When my dad passed away a few years later, this was my only inheritance. His last name, his hair color, his dark sense of humor. But also the opportunity to be a better person. Because of him, I have the firsthand experience of the damage addiction can cause. But I also have the compassion to see an addict as a man who perhaps once told jokes to his daughters to make them laugh. Because of him, I now have the invaluable insight that just as much darkness lurks in 6-bedroom homes as it does in Vancouver's downtown East Side. When I tell people about my dad today, they don't judge me. But they do feel bad for me, as though my childhood is one to be pitied. But don't pity me. Pity him, because I am that better person, one with the strength to tell this story. I've realized that being in my life is a privilege, one that because of his choices, he missed out on. One that because of their choices, all of my upstanding, bigoted family members will miss out on too. Thank you for hearing my secret.
Tanya Horn, will your life ever be the same? Tanya Horn, will your life ever be the same?
As the words hit my ears with a deafening silence, my heart broke. My head began to spin, my whole world obliterated. And as I watched the fragmented pieces scatter of what my reality once was, I knew my life would never be the same. There was a life full of devastating depression, generalized anxiety. It had killed my faith and nearly stolen my hope. There were days, no months, no years, where I could barely lift my head up off a pillow. I was wandering around in deep and dark waters, and I had no idea how I was going to put the pieces of my life back together. Mr. Chair, fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests, and honorable judges. Have you ever had that experience where you've had the rug ripped out from underneath you? Or maybe you've experienced the sideswipe of betrayal, or the brokenheartedness of a tragic and unexpected loss. This loss had created such a crater in my life, I did not know if I was ever going to laugh again, smile again. What kind of future is that? But I knew that I had to do a few things every day. I needed to laugh. I needed to cry. I needed to learn. And I needed to feed my children, mostly because it was illegal not to. I was agoraphobic. I could not leave my house except to go to the grocery store. The first 5 years were a blur and a mess. I was in gripping fear of everything around me. I did not trust anyone or anything. And I had no idea how I was going to regain my footing. Thankfully, in feeding my children, it actually started what has now become almost a 20-year tradition in our home, where we sit around the table as a family and we interact. It was the first and one and only thing that I knew that I could do, and I could do well. As I started to regain my passion for life, because before then I was existing in this sort of gray matter. It was years later that I would come to community theater, to Toastmasters, to service work, to help me reemerge and regain my passion for life. It was in those steps that I started to learn how to pick up the pieces that were laying on the floor and put them back together to regain a picture, a new picture of what life was going to look like. Now, fast forward 15 or so years later, and as those words fell onto my ears, they're going to shut down the world. Pardon? I don't quite think I understand. And as those words fell onto my ears, I knew that life would never be the same. Needless to say, my panic skyrocketed. I did not know if I was coming or going. I was scared like I was in the 20 years previous. It was all of the work that I had done along the way gone. I was petrified. What was my future going to look like? What was the world going to look like? It was in that fear that I decided, okay, I can't go back to those dark places. Those are dark waters that I wish not to go back to. But how? So I hired myself a coach. Now I got ready, just like the rest of us, for this 3-month sprint. This global pandemic, this will be easy. 3 months, it'll be over. To which we now all understand it's more like a marathon that has no definitive ending at this point in time. It was when my coach said to me, Tanya, you have a responsibility to your gifts and talents, and you deserve to live your best life, that I went, whoa, but how? Now, I did try door-to-door comedian at the beginning of the pandemic. Needless to say, it wasn't well received. No one would open their door. And I was like, but how do I help when I feel so helpless? So it was when Lucy from Peanuts came to me in a very vivid dream, Charlie Brown's cartoon. She had a psychiatrist down and she showed up in this dream and said, build it and they will come. I was to become the sit-down stand-up comedian. I don't know how to do that. But it was shortly after that that I got clear that people are isolated out there and they're afraid, and we human beings are wired for connection. So I built myself the comedy stand. Here it is. Here's what it looks like. It's effectively a glorified lemonade stand. And I sit out on the side of the street on Vancouver's busy street 2 times a week advocating for mental health. As I pushed that cart out the first time, I was terrified. People are going to think I'm foolish. People are going to think I'm weird. But I knew people needed me. And so I pushed past that comfort zone and I pushed my cart out onto the street. That was 10 months ago now. I sit there advocating for mental health Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11:30 to 1:30. As a result of the comedy stand this year, I'm about to finish my first year of therapy school to become a registered therapist. I became a laughter yoga leader this year, where I get to use my laughter to help others in their healing. I get paid to make people laugh. How cool is that? And a far cry from where I once was when I didn't believe I would ever smile or laugh again. I also became a published author this year with another 365 amazing Canadian women. And because of that, I'm now a co-host on something called The Chat YouTube TV. So I ask you, what's your comedy stand moment? Where in your life could you apply yourself innovatively to create the life that you've always wanted and always dreamed of? Now, the comedy stand isn't for everyone, but there's a version of that just for you, Mr. Chair.
Brent Raymond, leap. Brent Raymond, leap.
When was the last time you jumped 2 feet into the unknown and tried something you never have before? No due diligence, just an impulse. And by taking that chance, everything was going to be okay. Or not, who knows? But you tried it anyway. Are you willing to say yes to the next opportunity that presents itself to you, no matter what it is? Do you really trust your future self? The next time your gut says to go for it, and your brain says stop, I invite you to remember this concept. Leap, and the safety net will appear. Contest chair, fellow toasties, judges, and welcome guests. About a year ago, I knocked on my sister's friend's house and met her for the very first time. She was looking for a housemate. I was searching for a place to live. And she was cute. I signed the tenancy agreement, moved my stuff in, we became friends, and then COVID. A few weeks go by and my new landlord approaches me with a wild idea. I know you're supposed to see that model you're dating tomorrow night, but you're unattached and I'm single. Both our clocks are ticking. Would you be interested in making a baby with me instead? Hell of a question to have to answer the night before a date with a model. I've always wanted to be a father, but make a baby? Like a real life baby human? Tonight? Yes, I do. Diligence can come later. What a cool story, right? Making a COVID lockdown baby with my new landlord? Oh, first things first. Hey, model. It's me, Brent. Yeah, I know we're supposed to see each other tomorrow night, but we've got this weird pandemic going on and this other thing. My new landlord asked me to make a baby with her and I said yes. Goodbye. Leap, and the safety net will appear. Why the hell not? Take the risk or miss the chance. It's a skill I learned while traveling around the world. You see, I was 38, recently divorced, 2015, and had just turned my 4-bedroom house into the party house from the movie Old School. Remember Will Ferrell? Come on, everybody, we're going streaking. My life was a gong show. I had a great career, sure, but I was lost. My best friend happened to be in South America and invited me to meet him. So I took a leap, quit my job, bought a plane ticket instead. It was going to be my first gap year. You know, gap year, that thing that recently graduated high school kids do when they don't know what to do with their lives. Sometimes recently divorced middle-aged men do it too. Buy a backpack and travel the world. That's what I'll do. The diligence can wait. From Argentina to Chile, Panama over to Hawaii. My dad even flew out. We went fly fishing for bonefish in Kiribati. I learned how to scuba dive in Fiji, bull sharks everywhere. Gold Coast, Australia, Kiwi experience, New Zealand. I eventually returned home, having learned how to say yes to life. How could I ever say no again? But we get so caught up in our routines. We spend our entire lives building up these protective walls. We call it a comfort zone, and in it, we live safe and small. Convenient, sure, but mine wasn't very comfortable at all. Until I started pulling the bricks out of my wall and made a pathway instead. I've never looked back, and there's safety ahead. I trusted in my future self. And remember when Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico in 2017? When the president flew down to hold a press conference just to mock the head of state and toss paper towels into a crowd of reporters while thousands remain homeless and many had died? Oh, my blood boiled. And then my heart started pounding. I'd never volunteered in disaster areas before, but I knew exactly what I needed to do. Sold my company, then my truck, gave notice to my landlord, not that one, and bought another new backpack instead. Here we go again. I had more meaningful things to do around the world. Diligence can come later. It was time to take another gap year. And what a gift. I leapt into service, repairing homes for those same victims in Puerto Rico, rebuilding schools after the earthquakes hit Nepal and Indonesia, offering hope when the tropical cyclone hit Mozambique. Forever in service, brave and free. If I hadn't leapt the first time, who knows if I would have gained the courage to do it all again. It was becoming clear another gap year could become a gap life, and that's okay. With no fear of moving forward, it was starting to make sense. I was my safety net. So when my new landlord said, let's make a baby because she wanted to experience all of life's experiences, I thought, my kind of girl, let's leap together. And we have. 1 year later, here I am, future Brent, whom I trusted at every step, with a landlord that became a girlfriend, and perhaps a little diligence coming soon. Now, of course, I'm not encouraging everyone to go out and have sex with your landlords or quit your jobs and travel around the world twice. But if you're wavering on some big decision, unsure if you should take that chance, wondering if you'll ever be ready, if you're even thinking about it, then you're ready. Take one step. Trust yourself. Only then will you know how to live. The entire rest of your life is still ahead of you. Your hopes and dreams are just a leap or two away. But where to start? Maybe begin here. But a bucket list, unchecked, is just a list. So what's on yours? And what's holding you back? That nagging voice in your head, it's only going to get louder. Or worse, it'll stop trying. You're ready. And the next time you leap, the safety net will appear because it's you. Contest chair.
All right. Contestant number 4, Carrie Deschamps, me to we. Carrie Deschamps, me to we.
Has your world ever been turned upside down? Fellow Toastmasters, contest chair, ladies and gentlemen. Seems like a silly question today, doesn't it? Of course it has. COVID's done that for us. Thanks, COVID. But could it get any worse? I didn't think so. Then I hit my message on my answering machine. It was from a friend that I know that's a Toastmaster that's in the hospital system. A friend of mine went into the hospital a few days before this message. The message read simply, Hey, your friend is in the hospital. It's likely he's not going to make it through the evening. He had COVID. I was stunned. It was like being hit by a ton of bricks. My body froze. I didn't know what to do. The only thing I could think of was saying a short prayer and then calling a circle of friends, letting them know the situation. My friend wasn't expected to make it through the evening. The next morning, we got the call, but it wasn't quite the call I expected. The call was from a family member, his only family member down on the mainland. They needed someone to go in and pray for this person, for their kin. I jumped at the chance. I got to the hospital and they allowed me in, and I had a chance to pray for my friend. With tears and with joy, I said goodbye. He was a friend of mine for 20 years, a well-known person in the community. He helped the homeless, the people that had addictions. He was a man of faith. He was a Toastmaster, a good friend of mine. And as I thought about what to say at the gravesite memorial, I reflected back to 5 years ago when another Toastmaster friend of mine passed away as well. This was a person I've known for a number of years, but they kept pretty much to themselves. They had a circle of friends, but they didn't share a lot of their life with those friends. They picked and chose their circle. When I was at the memorial, it was like all these new circles of people I was meeting, very little in common. I call this the me focus. That friend in Toastmaster lived his life me focused. But my friend lived more we focused. His circles of friends were interconnected. They knew each other. My friend had shared his life, his experiences with me. He enriched my life. Maybe you have friends like that enrich your lives. When this friend, his wife had passed away 10 years ago, we kind of adopted him into our family. We brought him over at the Thanksgiving and Easters and Christmas meals we spent with our family. He became a family member, telling us his jokes, having a meal around the table, and beating us at Scrabble. He was really good. A friendship really developed. Now, interestingly enough, COVID's put a lot of us into the me focus center today. We have fear of getting out and meeting people, of being around people because of COVID. Maybe we were introspective. Maybe you were an introvert and you didn't like being around people. I understand that. I understand picking individual friends. There's value in that. But there's also value in this, sharing your life with others, enriching others' lives with what you can offer and what they can offer you. Interestingly enough, there was a 75-year study, and it was on happiness. A 75-year study at Harvard University. And you know what they found? Happiness doesn't come down to work or position or status or title or the number of toys or the money. They found it came down to quality, healthy relationships. That's really important. If you want to be happy, relationships. How many people do you know on their deathbed say, I wish I had more money or more toys? It's often about spending more time with people. So how do we spend more time with people? We need help. So here's an SOS for those that need it. The S, we need to surrender our lives. We need to give up, get out of our comfort zone, get past the fear. Make it a goal to connect with people, to share your life. The O is to look at opportunities. What opportunities do you have around you? Maybe it's a phone call today, or maybe it's going to a virtual meeting. There are many opportunities just right around us, close. Take those opportunities. Maybe it's faith related, maybe it's family, maybe it's friends. And I encourage you to take those opportunities. And then the last S is, remember what our mother told us when we were young? Share your toys, share your life with others. And when you share your life with others, you enrich their lives. You also, through your life, enrich others. Don't wait for a memorial to tell someone their impact they've had on your life. Do it now. Connect with them. My challenge to you is to move from the me to the we, share your life, enrich others, and you will find you are much happier. Mr. Contest Chair.
Quinn Cashin, open your mind to love. Quinn Cashin, open your mind to love.
Where there is love, there is life, said Gandhi. Fellow Toastmasters, guests, and anyone who doubts the boundless power of love. In 2005, my life was like a home with all but one window boarded up. My marriage was on autopilot. My career was at a standstill. However, the light that came from that one window came from my two daughters. My 5-year-old, Mia, with her short blonde hair and her big blue eyes, loved to tell stories. Morgan, my 3-year-old, with her cheeky little grin and her sense of style, would even make Beyonce jealous. Where there's love, there's peace. Have you ever had such conflicting emotions where you love for parts of your life and apathy for the rest of it? It's like you're standing on a balancing beam and the wind can blow you over, and yet you continue to balance. But it can only last for so long before it all comes tumbling down. For me, it happened on Sunday night. I was playing hide and seek with Mia and Morgan. The dishwasher buzzed, alerting me to the dishes. I bent over to open the door and my vision started to blur and my head started to spin, and I leaned against the counter, but my legs buckled and I collapsed to the floor. "Mommy," said Morgan. "Mommy, what's wrong?" I didn't know. I didn't know then. I didn't know after 10 hours in emergency. I didn't even know after the doctor prescribed 2 weeks of complete bed rest at home. After more tests, a CAT scan, worrying and waiting, a phone call. Doctors don't call unless something's wrong, right? Finally, at the doctor's office, it felt cold that day with its old white paint and its bright lights bothering my eyes. The doctor walks in without even a good in her morning. Quinn, you have a calcification in your cerebellum. I have a what? It's a pebble-sized growth in your brain. You need to see a brain surgeon. Do you have any questions? 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 Yes? Am I going to be okay? Live? But no words come out. I feel numb. As I drove home, my mind started to race. How can this be? This is not fair. I'm a young mom. Oh, breathe, Quinn. Oh, my mind is on overdrive. The fear is gripping me. My window with the last ray of sunshine is fading. It's getting dark in my home. The next day, I go for a walk in the neighborhood park, and I sit down under my favorite old oak tree. And I turn and look to the only source I know that can help. God, I need a miracle, please. Back home, my daughter Mia is telling herself a story. I quietly come closer and I come into her room and I sit on her bed so I can listen. She's at her bedside table, completely in character, with Geneviève the elephant, Kitty the cat, and Buster the dog. Mia, what's your story about? It's about miracles, Mommy. What's a miracle? It's when you get a surprise from God. How do you get one of those? She turned and looked ever so sweetly into my eyes, slowly raises her hands and says, when you open your mind to love. That moment, I felt a great love come over me, as if I was given the best medicine on earth. This moment, this very moment felt like a surge of energy coming through my home. Every window flies open, lets the light in. Who knew my 5-year-old would be telling me that miracles happen when you open your mind to love? Didn't take me long to understand this message. The pebble's still there. My brain surgeon says it's a beauty mark. My 2 little miracles, Mia and Morgan, are all grown up now. Still test my love. It's still pure. For me, I've closed the door on my marriage, and I opened many new doors, including Toastmasters and getting my degree. Now I find joy in my work as I help women rediscover how to open their minds to love. So the next time your inner home is boarded up, know it seeks the light. So rip off those boards of fear and doubt and let the light in. Because when you do, you're free to live the life you're meant to live. Simply because you opened your mind to love. Contest chair.
Contestant number 6, Aaron Pierce, asking for answers. Aaron Pierce, asking for answers.
I like to think of myself as a problem solver. Does anyone here like to think of themselves as problem solvers? Let me see. Okay. Now, think back and let me know if this has happened. A friend comes to you and they are falling apart. They're crumbling. Maybe terrible relationship. Maybe they're caged or trapped in their life. Or maybe it's a horrible job. Whatever it is, it's bad. But you're a problem solver. You got this. You see the path out. You see the solution, so you craft it together perfectly. Hand it to them and send them off. And then they do exactly what you told them not to do. Fellow Toastmasters, judges, guests, Zoom bombers, I want to introduce someone to you. My older brother, Lee. If you want an image, just picture me, but more intense. Ever since we were kids, Lee has asked other people for their answers while I have told them what to do. For example, when Lee caught me chasing one of his friends around the backyard with a tree branch, waving it wildly over my head, his response was, "What are you doing?" Whereas when he came home with an injury from letting a friend stand on his shoulders with a chainsaw, I said, "Hey, idiot, next time, bring a ladder." You know, oddly enough, he never did bring that ladder on his next chainsaw romp. But what I've noticed is Lee always starts with a question. Even when I call him, his first thing to say tends to be, "What?" Lee asks for explanations. He asks for answers. Why are you doing this? What's your plan? What's going on? What are you thinking? And this is something I've really come to appreciate, especially when compared to my method of handing out solutions. Back in 2016, I was at the tail end of a horrible job. I was a door-to-door salesman in Toronto, and I was depressed and burnt out. On a daily basis, I was at least troubled, if not fully traumatized, by either crazy customers or just the crooked company. An example, I had a customer answer his door. He kind of looked a bit like me, same build, same hair, but he was wearing this shirt that came down to about here, and he was wearing absolutely nothing else. I have never made more direct nor more desperate eye contact in my entire life. As for the company, they promised a fully furnished house to get me to fly across the country. There was going to be everything: 4-poster bed, TVs, Xboxes, fully stocked kitchen. It was going to be amazing. But when I got there, there was a mattress in the bedroom, a couch in the living room, and absolutely nothing else. It was awful. But what made it worse was all the people came crawling out of the woodwork to try and solve my problem. They'd tell me to quit. They'd tell me to go home. They'd tell me, "You don't deserve this crap." They'd tell me what to do. And the more they did, the less I wanted to. Everyone told me to quit. Everyone except Lee. I remember ranting and raving to him about the horrors of door-to-door sales, and he'd get steadily louder. He'd get steadily angry. He'd react bigger, but he never told me what to do. I remember saying to him, "Oh God, man, on top of the naked customers, when I got to the house, the company was there. Oh, mattresses. You furnished it with mattresses, eh? Mattresses." Mattresses. There's this long pause before Lee, intense as always, goes, "Mattresses? Those absolute wastes of space. Isn't that illegal?" To which I say, "No, it was never written in a contract. It was all just talk." And he goes, "Damn. Well, whatever you're there for better be worth it. Why are you sticking it out?" Why was I sticking it out? Lee was asking for an explanation. He was asking for an answer like he always did. But I didn't have one. I wasn't there for money. I wasn't making any. I wasn't there to learn. All I was learning now was how important a few inches of fabric can really be on a man's shirt. Why was I sticking it out? I was tired. I was angry. I was depressed. I needed to go home. I'm happy to say, less than a month later, I was on a flight back to BC onto a much happier and mentally healthier life. When I told people what to do, when I handed them solutions, they rarely took them. Hell, if Lee had told me what to do, I'd probably still be back in Toronto on that same stupid mattress. But because he asked for my answer, he freed me to see my situation and find my own solution. Now, because of Lee, I stopped telling people what to do. Now I ask a question, I ask for their answer. That way, either they give the explanation that Lee always looked for, or they find their own solution that works for them. So, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I will ask you this, my fellow problem solvers. When someone comes to you and they are falling apart, they're crumbling, maybe it is a terrible relationship, maybe they feel caged or trapped in their life, maybe it's a horrible job. Are you going to start handing out solutions? Or are you going to start asking for answers? Back to you.
Michael Gorczynski, no more 0 days. Michael Gorczynski, no more 0 days.
You are wasting your life. I looked into the mirror, dead eyes looking back at me. Michael, you are wasting your life. It wasn't always the case. Before COVID, I was fired up about martial arts. I was doing improv comedy on Granville Island. And my weekends, they were always filled with friends and fun. Then this vile pandemic barged into our lives. And all of a sudden, all of the things that made my life so interesting just disappeared, taking parts of my soul with them. I tried to fill up the emptiness with quick fixes, instant reward mechanisms like Netflix and junk food delivery and hours upon hours of social media suck. But it didn't work. It just made things worse. I found myself in a downward spiral of anxiety, of anger, and alcoholism. I know. Boo-hoo, Mike. You need a tissue for your issue? No. Don't worry. I am not here for self-therapy. I am here to share the secret that has saved my life. Ammunition against depression. 4 simple words. No more 0 days. No more 0 days. What does that mean? Author Ryan Zawan defines a 0 day as a day on which you do not do a single thing towards your dreams and your goals. Ever had one of those? Ever had too many of those? I had, but I had enough. No more. This time during the pandemic and isolation, it was going to be the perfect time to realize one of my dreams, to play the guitar. Daily lessons, chord practice, day in after day, I did the work. Until one Monday evening, not too long ago, I came home from work after a rough day. Took off my shoes, took off my backpack, and I looked at my guitar. And then I looked at my bed. Looked at my guitar. I looked at my bed. Guitar, bed. And I surrendered. Just went into my bed and crashed. Hours flew by. I opened up my eyes. It was 2 minutes to midnight. A burning feeling of guilt started to rise up my neck. I looked at my guitar, but she wasn't angry at me. No, she winked at me and whispered, "No more 0 days, Michael." Instantly, I knew what I had to do. I jumped out of bed, grabbed this good girl, told Alexa to go down Motley Crue, and for 5 minutes, whoo, baby, we rocked it out like we were in the band. Kickstart my heart, yeah! Woo! I was jacked. But more importantly, and the point of my story, is that this little victory over nothingness added another non-zero day towards one of my goals. And over time, this adds up like compound interest for your soul. Simply put, the more consecutive non-zero days you fire off, the greater you will become. Living no more 0 days is giving me back my life. I go running every day, even if on some days it's just up the stairs in my apartment, but hey, that counts. Instead of junk food delivery, I've discovered a passion for cooking. And most recently, I started a project in the downtown East Side, the rough part of town, to help the people that needed the most. I get to do the things that give me purpose. And so do you. When we are on our purpose, we thrive. And when we thrive, the world around us thrives, because the rising tide lifts all boats. My Toastmasters soulmates, you know your dreams and goals. Do not let a single day go by without doing something towards them. In the words of Lao Tzu, watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, it becomes your character. Watch your character, and it becomes your destiny. No more 0 days. Mr. Contest Chair.
Please unmute everyone. Chorito. And let's make sure that we give a thunderous applause to all our contestants all the way, so that millions of miles away on YouTube, they can all hear us bringing the house down. Contestants, you can breathe. I don't know about the contestants, but I was almost out of breath. Wonderful. This is how we watch contests and contestants slugging it out for one person to finally get his or her name in bronze on the biggest trophy in this district. And as if we didn't get enough from our contestants, let's do it one more time by interviewing them a la table topic style. We'll do it in the same order. And just so fistfights don't break out amongst the contestants, I will not be asking you which is the best Toastmasters club in the world. I might make the odd exception, but as a rule, I will not be asking you that question. But the one question I will ask everyone, starting with Maria, is which club are you in and which division?
I am from Division J, and I'm representing Be Amazing Toastmasters, although I've also recently just joined Douglas Toastmasters as well.
Well, you certainly were amazing. You should be very proud of yourself, Maria.
Thank you.
Are there any other family secrets you'd like to share in private with us?
Maybe some other time. I'll save it for my next speech.
All right. Now, Maria, this morning I turned CNN on and learned that in your notable accomplishments, they said that you spent a whole year at home without spilling anything on your laptop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was much more difficult for me than winning the division contest, so I'm extra proud about that.
Good. And I see that one of your interests is punching things. I hope that doesn't include the contest chair or the judges.
Well, let's just count yourselves lucky that we're all protected by Zoom right now. I'm just kidding.
All right. Now you are a UX writer.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what UX means. Please tell us.
UX is an acronym that stands for user experience, and a UX writer writes the copy or words that appear on an interface or website that allow users to complete their task or find the information they need. So if you're shopping on an online store and you see words that help you navigate to the product you want or navigate to your cart, things like that, someone like me is behind it.
Terrific. All right. And Maria, I am going to do a skill testing multiple choice question with you. Okay.
Oh,
so
okay.
Pick the idiom that works best for you as far as this contest goes. Piece of cake, a wild goose chase, or bucket list checked.
I'd have to go with bucket list checked because it was definitely not a piece of cake. I've worked really hard practicing my speech and getting through all the different levels. Yeah, even if I don't make it to the next round, that's totally fine. I'm really proud of how far I've come in this contest, how far each and every one of you contestants have come. And yeah, I'm just happy to be honored to have the opportunity to compete in this contest. So yeah, definitely a bucket list one.
Well, we are happy and honored that you were here because you were indeed absolutely amazing. And as a big virtual reward, we have a certificate of participation for you, Maria.
Thank you.
You can frame it.
I will.
For posterity. There you go. That was Maria Ganger, our contestant number 1. Contestant number 2, Tanya Horn.
Hello.
Tanya, have I not seen you loitering around on this final stage in the past?
Yes, I'm pretty sure this is my 5th time at this level.
And I'm pretty sure that the last time you and I were in this situation, I made you cry and you made the audience cry. We're not going to do that again, are we?
Well, you know what? Stranger things have happened for me. It may happen.
Yes.
I cry a lot.
And the last time, I believe you brought your whole house on stage, right?
Pretty much, yes.
And this time you're in your house.
I am.
Wonderful. Tell us your club's name and division.
Seymour Speakers. Apparently, I've lost the challenge of speaking today, and we're in Division M.
Great. So would your club like to see more speakers? You got 10 seconds to make a plug. See more members.
Okay. A plug for other people to come visit our club. Is that what you mean?
Sure.
Excellent. Excellent. We are Vancouver's only high energy morning meeting. So at 7:30 in the morning, we are alive and in charge. And we have an amazing group of people who are really dedicated to Toastmasters and dedicated to the learnings and the teachings that we get to share while we're in Toastmasters, 7:30 in the morning to 8:50 in the morning. And then you get to go to work right after that. What else could you possibly ask for in a big city like Vancouver?
More sleep.
We get that excuse quite often. And the people that come to visit us are like, oh, your energy is electric. I'm going to have to join.
Awesome. Now, Tanya, I noticed that your email address has a certain attitude. What's with your email?
I've had that email for almost 20 years now. It is attitude, a gratitude. And so 20 years ago, I wasn't feeling very much gratitude for life. And that was a small way of really establishing a different monologue, a different frame of mind. And here it is 20 years later. It's impossible to spell, and I have to spell out every word, but it really has meaning to me. So attitude of gratitude, I try and carry that everywhere in my life.
Wonderful. We could all use that email address, can we? Or certainly parts of it.
Yes.
Great. Awesome. Wonderful. Let's see the certificate of participation for Tanya. The whole thing.
I will add it to the collection, Shrup. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Yes.
Thank you.
You're
I'm going to show off
absolutely
the
good.
book that I was published in and the chat that I'm on.
Please do.
Look them up because it's worth looking up. Pursuit 365 and the chat on YouTube. For shameless plugs.
Well done, Tanya.
Thank you.
Our third contestant was Brent Raymond. Which club and division, Brent?
Division M, Down to Business Toastmasters Club, Port Coquitlam.
Awesome. Let's get down to business, Brent. You believe in a lot of gaps, as I understand it.
I do.
You do. All right. So who spoke these, or I should say, wrote these famous words? My last speaking competition was in grade 9.
Yeah, that would be me.
And then there's a gap. And after that, it says, my aspiration is to make it to the World Championship of Public Speaking at some point in time in the next 4 years. Who said those words?
That'd be me, my friend.
All right. So tell us about your contest journey. What did it feel like? What were the struggles, the sacrifices, the joys you experienced?
I got my butt kicked in the club championship. Mandera, who journeyed with me on the next 2 levels, she crushed me in the club championship. But luckily, we were the only 2 competitors. So we went through to the next round. And it really motivated me to raise my game. My speech changed, it evolved. I had some very good guidance from some mentors at Toastmasters. And it changed again this morning. It just continually evolves. It's continually I just keep filling the gaps, I guess. Yeah.
Now, Brent, I have to ask you this question. Now, we've all heard of friends with benefits. You managed to find a landlord with benefits.
Yeah.
What gives? How do people find such a landlord?
Synchronicity, man. There was about a 24-hour window. I was looking for a home in Port Moody, and this amazing woman was searching for a housemate, and she was my sister's really good friend. And the story is true. I knocked on her door and met her for the first time, and we became fast friends. COVID hit, and she had her own personal journey of wanting to become a mother, and it's a little bit ass backwards. I get it, but we have this great relationship now that's grown from it. So yeah, serendipity, best way to say it.
And suddenly bed and breakfast took on a whole new meaning, isn't it?
Well, we actually, funny enough, we have 3 bedrooms in the house, And we're either in my bedroom, her bedroom, or the guest bedroom, sleeping each night. It's just been this two roommates who get along quite well.
Well done. You deserve a big round of applause
Thank you, Sheree.
and a participation certificate.
Beautiful. I'll take it. I'll put it in the man cave.
Raymond.
I love the
And
view.
then we have Kerry Deschamps. Kerry, you have also been seen loitering on these stages, haven't you?
I have, yes.
All right. Is this take 2, 3, 4, 5?
I lost track.
You do realize, Kerry, that if you win the big one today, you will have to change your name a little bit. Kerry the Champ.
Wouldn't that be nice?
It would be. It would be. And I see that you've got a long history in Toastmasters. It's like a serial criminal's rap sheet. So let's pretend, Kerry, that there is a certain district director-elect in this room. What advice would you give her in private? Keep in mind that the title of your script was Me, started at least with me, and her name just happens to be Mimi.
Yeah. Thanks, Sharuk. I believe as we get into leadership, each of us brings our own style, our own techniques, our own passion and drive. Mine was focused at giving back to the organization. And one thing I realized, and I'm not sure about Mimi's, I would like to have a coffee and get into like a deeper relationship with Mimi and, find a way to enrich her life through helping in the leadership side. But one thing I would pass along was, and that I learned, Sharuk, was simply culture eats strategy for breakfast. I did a lot of strategy stuff, but culture in our organization is a very powerful thing. I tried to change that a little bit, and we're a pretty big culture-focused organization. And I think that that's what I would say is pick some goals, focus on that, but realize that culture is really important. Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of family secrets, just between us girls, Kerry and I have shared hotel rooms multiple times.
There you go.
And what we do have in common is we both like to sleepwalk and sleep talk. So talk about walking the talk. Now that I've got those secrets out there, let's see Kerry's certificate of participation and give him a resounding round of applause. Kerry Deschamps.
Thank you, Sharuk, and others.
Quinn Cashin.
Hello,
All right,
Sharuk.
I'm going to take my words back, Quinn, and ask you, and only you, that question. Which is the best Toastmasters club in the world?
Key speakers, of course.
Of course. Well, VPPR, full disclosure, and I've got the mic. Who's going to stop me? All right. Key speakers, Division
H.
Division H. Now, you've accomplished a lot, including opened your mind to love. Tell us about the book that you just published.
Well, the work that I did for a nonprofit organization was developing a resilience manual to go into elementary schools, because we know that children struggle with mental health and their well-being. And so if we can let them see how amazing they are, we can just go underneath all of that and just cultivate that wellness, that resilience that's already there. So the manual is a 10-week lesson, and parents and teachers can use it.
And let me introduce you to Tanya Horn. Yeah. who was rooting for you as soon as you said mental health.
Uh,
So that's tremendous work that both of you are doing for the welfare of people with mental health. Now you are a newer Toastmaster. Tell us what this journey, this struggle was like for you.
oh, wow.
Or pick an idiom, bent out of shape, or get it out of your system.
Yeah, get it out of your system is right. Yeah, writing a speech for me, it was a spiritual experience for sure, because of my story, and I had to go so deep with that and really touch that essence of what happened so many years ago. So it was frustrating. it was enlightening. It was so many things around it. So it was definitely a journey to go on for sure.
And I see that in your bio, you say that you were a mama coach, but I was a bit confused because I thought your 5-year-old daughter was your coach.
Well, she is. That's why I get to be a coach for mamas, because she gets to help me figure out how to be a good mom.
Well, it was Mother's Day, and you delivered the mother of all your speeches. So congratulations, and here's your certificate of participation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Quinn Cashin. Let's see, who's next? Aaron Pierce.
Hello.
We've got some familiar faces showing up on these stages, haven't we?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Tell us about Oh, yeah.
Tell you about,
Your
oh, yeah.
club.
Oh, my club.
And your division, and then how many times have you been here and why?
That's the question, isn't it? A club is Earth Aware, Toastmasters. Division is B. Why? How many times have I been on the district stage for international speech? Twice. For other district things, a couple other times. Why I do it is because I have the worst fear of missing out ever. If I don't do it, there will be something in the back of my mind that says, but Aaron, it could have been your year. And it probably wasn't, but at the same time, if I don't, I'll never know. And it's fun. If I get up here and I get to yell at a large group of people, then that's good for me.
Awesome. And I see you have a diverse range of interests. And one of them happens to be eating.
Yes.
What's with that?
Look,
A means to an end or something more than that?
well, I mean, it always starts as a means to an end, but I'd say food is a passion. Not cooking it, I'm not good at that, but eating it, I love doing. Any food, there are really only 2 foods I will not eat, raw tomatoes and black licorice. Otherwise, I will eat it with enthusiasm, unless it sets my entire face on fire. I mean, to give you an example of something I love eating that all of you will judge me for, but you should try it, is peanut butter, pineapple, and cheese on toast. Life-changing, amazing. I see the looks, but try
Is it in that order or just mix it all up?
Well, I mean, okay, I can give you the recipe. Bread, put a layer of peanut butter. Then you put a few bits of pineapple, just enough to cover it. Then you put a layer of cheese fairly thin. You put it in the oven on broil until the cheese bubbles. And it is the best meal you will have. Anyone who's been to university, it'll bring you back to those days for when you just pulled stuff out of the fridge. But it's actually a family recipe, and I love it. I would eat it every day if it wouldn't make me expand.
And just to clarify, do not use that as a sandwich technique for evaluations, correct?
I mean, you can try. I don't know what the pineapple is. It's supposed to be sweet, but yes, you're correct.
All right. And my last question, considering that your title was asking for answers, is what's with you sleeping through an air horn? Was it the morning after the night before?
Well, okay, I was camping, right? And I sleep through almost anything. And at about 7 in the morning, the campsite next to mine started playing with one of those air horns, just like, "Nyah." And when I woke up at like 9 in the morning, maybe 10, I like to sleep in. I get out of the tent and all my friends are angry, furious. And they're mad, both of the people next to us and at me for sleeping through it. And I was like, what's wrong, everybody? And they're like, did you not hear the air horn? Oh, what air horn? They were very mad at me, but I don't know how I do it, but all I know is if there's ever a house fire, I will sleep through it.
Fabulous. And here's your one more certificate of participation. Give it up for Aaron Pierce.
Thank you.
And finally, Michael Gorczynski.
Wow, Sharuk, you really did well with my name. Congrats.
Well, I had to practice that all night without Carrie's help.
Well, thank you for your
Gorczynski.
commitment. That is a true contest chair. Sharuk, the legend. Thank you for
please.
being here.
Far from
in
it. It's all about together tomorrow.
100%.
All right. Michael, which club and division?
I'm part of VETC, which is short for Vancouver Entrepreneurs Toastmasters Club. It's Division S, Area 26. I literally had our ex-president shoot me this information like minutes ago because I only know the name of the club.
Better late than never, Michael.
That's right. Support of the
I see you have something in common. You and Aaron can get along really well because you like cooking and Aaron likes eating.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's a self-sustaining ecosystem.
What else do you like?
What else do I like? Just being alive, being present, meditating, breathing, running, whatever takes me outside my head and gets me in the present moment. Listening to Eckhart Tolle on my runs. That's the stuff. That's the stuff. It's so many stories that we make in our heads, and if we are aware of them, we don't have to negate them. If we're aware of them and can put them aside and just focus on how we feel, it's a joy to be alive. So whatever gets me close to that moment of presence, that's what I'll go for.
That's my man. A joy to be alive, and it has been a joy to listen and watch your amazing speech. And for that and so much more, the least we can do is to give you a certificate of participation. Michael Gorczynski.
Yay. Look at that.
All together now for our contestants and a rousing round of applause. Take a bow, everyone. You absolutely deserved it. And whilst we are waiting for our chief judge to share the results with us, let me remind everyone that the winner of this afternoon's competition will suddenly discover that he or she actually took part in 2 contests today. How is that possible? It is because by winning this competition, the video of the winner's talk will get into the quarterfinals of the World Championship of Public Speaking. It's called the regional round. And then 2 of the top 2 winners of the regional round will end up in the semifinals of the World Championship of Public Speaking. And now, it is my even greater pleasure to introduce to you a champion of champions, so much so that her name is on the trophy that our champion will be getting today. Amongst our midst, live and in person today, is none other than Angela Louis. Well, Angela had the distinction of winning 3 district titles in 2004 and 2005. She won table topics, evaluation, and the international speech contest all in the same year. And if that wasn't enough, she placed 2nd at the World Championship Finals in 2005. All those are big shoes to fill for all of the contestants here, including me. So welcome, 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 Angela Louis. So I'll turn it over to Angela, and she is going to be announcing our winners. Angela Louis.
Terrific. Thank you. Congratulations, all of you. I was entertained and inspired and definitely relieved I wasn't competing today. Thanks to all of you. Okay, are you ready? It's only me standing between you and satisfaction. So, our third place contestant, number 3, but don't tell anyone, it's a secret, Maria Ganger. Congratulations, Maria. Our second place winner. Take a leap down here, Brent Raymond. And our winner of the International Speech Contest, on to another contest. How does it feel? Aaron Pierce.
Whoa, Aaron, you're the man. Asking for answers. Tremendous. Well, this nearly completes our contest today. I know that we are all beholden to the volunteers without whom this contest would not have been possible. Let me identify just a few of them. We have our Sergeant at Arms, Mimi Vanderhyde, also our District Director-elect. Awesome. We have our Zoom Masters, Charito K and Yuri Lanza. We had our timers, Warren Braithwaite and Debbie Pang. Well done. We had our counters, Melody, Merrily, and Pam. And of course, our chief judge and her merry band of anonymous judges, Linda Lee. Well done, everybody. Thank you to everyone on YouTube. Congratulations to all the contestants, especially the winners today. Don't forget that it ain't over till it is over.
Thank you for watching this video on the Toastmasters District 96 YouTube channel. Subscribe to our channel to watch replays of our volunteer-run workshops, contests, and other events that are happening in our district. Like this video to show your appreciation for the volunteers who work hard to run these events. And remember, we are all volunteers. Thank you.